Now, one of the most common ones, again, is going to be money, right? When you're talking about objections, a lot of people say that they can't afford it. They don't have any money. It's too expensive, right? All of that stuff is justification, excuses, and just bullshit, right? Oh, your program is too expensive. I know it's expensive. That's exactly what everybody says that buys my program, right? Say you're a personal trainer. I used to get this all the time in the gym. People would be like, oh, personal training is too expensive. I know it's expensive. That's exactly what everybody says that buys my program, right? Because guess what? No matter what, somebody's going to say that's expensive. That car is expensive. They buy it, right? That house is, holy man, it's so expensive. They buy it. That diamond ring, wow, that's expensive. They still buy it, right? So just because it's expensive, just because they say it's expensive, doesn't mean and is not saying they can't afford it, or is not saying they are not going to buy it. They're just telling you, wow, that's expensive. In agreement. When you're handling objections, you need to agree with them no matter what, because if you're not in agreement, you're actually in confrontation, or you're pushing against each other. You need to become an agreement, working with each other. That's how you sell things. That's how you close things. That's how you move forward with your business, right? So money, that's expensive. That's not an excuse, right? Everybody says everything is expensive. This watch is expensive. This house is expensive. That cell phone, wow, that iPhone that just came out is extremely expensive. And here we go. People are whipping out their credit cards. Give me that new iPhone. Give me that new iPhone, right? So because they say it's expensive doesn't mean that they say that means they can't do it or they're not going to do it. We subconsciously sometimes try to tell ourselves because somebody says it's expensive means they are not going to buy. Wrong answer. With your product, your service, your program, it doesn't matter what it is. When they say it's expensive, that doesn't mean they're going to buy. Stay committed, stay focused on actually helping and solving the problem at hand for that individual, and you'll move them in the direction of actually getting what they need and what they want. Okay. Now, the other thing is, I can't afford that. I totally understand, it's a lot of money, but you can't afford not to do this today. Think about X, Y, and Z. Think about where your health is right now. Think about where your financial situation is right now. You can't afford not to do this today, right? You're having a conversation, right? I can't afford that. I totally understand that it's extremely expensive, but that's exactly why you need to start doing this today, because I never want you to have to say those words again, right? It's too expensive. I can't afford it. You can't afford not to do it. We buy things that we can't afford all the time. Cars, houses, cell phones, right? That's why people live paycheck to paycheck. That's why credit card debt is so high. People buy things they can't afford on a regular basis because people buy what they want, right? People buy what they want. You need to show them, and you need to, they buy things that's going to solve a problem that they want right now. For instance, it's a really hot day outside, right? Somebody wants water. They're going to buy water if they're thirsty. It's going to solve that immediate problem for them, right? People buy food. Man, I could really go for a steak dinner tonight. They're going to go out, they're going to buy a steak. It's expensive, right? They bought the steak not because the steak was expensive or too overpriced, but because it was going to solve that initial problem that they had right then and there, right? People they want new clothes, they want nice stuff, they want this, right? People pay for stuff that they can't afford on a regular basis. And that's why credit cards are still here and available to every single American and everybody else on this planet. They can purchase stuff and then pay back the money later, right? So having them say that I can't afford it is not a valid excuse, right? Be in agreement with them, right? No matter what, you can't not afford to not do this today. And think about it. When's the last time you bought something that you couldn't afford? Right? When's the last time that you bought something that you couldn't afford? It's probably yesterday, right? Ask these questions, get in conversation. The more questions you decide to ask around these things, but always remember, ask questions you know the answers to. If you don't know the answer to it and you are in disagreement with them, you're not going to move forward, and this can drag on. Be quick, be to the point, and figure out how to actually get your product, your service, your program into their hands, because you know it's going to solve their problem. It's going to solve the issue that they have at hand, the thing that's cutting them off at the kneecaps, right? So What's another type of thing that people say? I'm not going to buy from you today. I totally get that. If you don't buy from me today, it's my fault 100%. I used to get this in the training world all the time, right? People, they'd walk in, I'd say, hey, my name's Joe. I'm going to be your personal trainer today. How you doing today? Oh, I'm doing phenomenal. Outstanding. Outstanding. You ready to have some fun? Absolutely. I'm ready to have some fun. By the way, I'm not going to buy a personal training program from you today. I just came in to check to see what it's all about. I totally understand that, sir. That's exactly why today is just the starting point. And if you don't buy from me, that just says that I didn't do a great enough job to actually solve the problem that you have. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the first things first. We'll get you starting points and make sure that we can move you in a direction and at least give you a couple of tips on what you need to do moving forward, right? That's all you're doing. You're just being straightforward. Hey, sir, I totally understand. If you don't buy from me today, that means I didn't provide you enough value. And I totally understand, and I apologize early, right? Think about it, right? Like when somebody's coming in and they say, I'm not going to buy from you, I totally understand. If you don't buy from me today, that's my fault. Take the blame for it, right? That's what everybody says that comes in here, no matter what. That's not necessarily committed to where they want to go. Right? That's what I think about when somebody says they're not buying today. That's literally them telling me they're going to buy today. That's all that they're saying. How do I know? I used to be that guy. I used to be the guy and walk in, just so I'm not going to buy today. I said that to see what they would say back whenever I walked into a place, right? Now that I know that I say that, it literally is them telling me, hey, just so you know, sir, I'm going to buy personal training from you today. So make it great. Right? That's exactly what they're saying. Money is never the issue. People will buy stuff. You'll pitch a program, a product, or a service to somebody, and they'll say it's too expensive. And when they sell you on the fact that they can't afford it and that money is the issue because you believe that that is the issue, right? And then you see them on Facebook or you see them at different things and they're buying X, Y, Z, bags, purses, wallets, clothes, hats, right? Shoes, cars, houses, phones, earbuds, right? All this fancy stuff. They're buying all this stuff that costs more than your program or your service or your product costs anyways, right? So remember, money is never the issue. People will always give you an excuse. They're always, their natural response is, I can't afford it. It's too expensive. I'm not going to buy from you. I'm not going to do this, right? But that's what I call that's that natural response that people give you, what I call reactive response, right? Initially, when you walk into Best Buy, you see that guy, he's aiming for you. Hey, welcome to Best Buy. Do you need help finding anything? People actually veer away from this guy, right? They actually move left when they see that guy standing there. They go to the left because they know he's going to help them. They know he's going to help them, right? So just know natural response for people is I can't afford it. I'm not going to buy it today. It's too expensive. All these excuses, it's not necessarily an excuse. All you have to do is sit down and have a conversation with them, solve the problem at hand, and you'll never have to worry about anything.